Hey, good Jay, and welcome to my channel. And what we've got here is Hydrolevel's newest version of the VXT programmable water feeder for steam boilers. Best feeder for steam boilers on the market today, and they've made it even better. So let's jump right into it. But before I do, I just wanted to mention that they sent me this for testing. So this is, I just wanted to let you know that. And so we're going to go ahead and just power it up. And what we have here is it's a 120 volt version. And so we have to be safer than if we were using the 24 volt version. And we got the hot here on the bottom for H and the N for neutral here. Dog that down. This is a Vassal. It's not a Philips. It's a Japan Industrial Standard, which is some would say a little bit better than Philips. That's an argument for another time. So let's turn this on. Lights on there, and as we close this, it should power this up. And we can see that the 2 is there, which how it comes or should come from the factory. And we're going to hit the feed button to send the appropriate current to the coil, which is a Robert Shaw coil, 120 volt. Nice and quiet. And that's fixed in place. They've got it bolted to the bottom there with a nut and a lock washer, and the pin is attached directly to the case. Very nice job. And so let me kill the power to this. Get a close-up of what they've done here. There we are. Set that aside. And this is right now, currently I'm showing an S45 solenoid valve, which is what sort of they've been making this valve for decades. And it's found in many different applications, and it's sold to anyone who comes up with the funds. And it's up to Hydrolevel to come up with whatever means they can use to make it work for them. So what you're supposed to do is loosen this screw here and loosen this screw here just slightly, 1 turn at most, and then you can rotate this in any direction you want. The coil remains fixed firmly in place, and that's just great. And it's no tape, that was a stopgap effort which they had to use when they were in the development process. So what was the issue? Okay, so this is an example of, you've probably seen this on other, if you've got any familiarity with the VXT, this is the standard valve, which they've been using for almost 2 decades now, or longer, with the V line, the VXT line. And this is fixed in place, and in order to change the directionality of the valve, you had to go through a whole bunch of bit of a nonsense, but and they came up with folks, the engineering team came up with the idea that you took the regular core of the valve and you mounted this round plate on here, holding the all the workings in place using standard screws. So you pull this out and you have a typical flat top screw, 8/32 screw. And so the thickness of this plate was determined by the screw. So the screw determined the thickness of the plate, and that was part of the problem. By affixing this in its location, they had to use what Robert Shaw was sending them. They weren't going to modify this at all. They had a winner. The design of the valve was what it was and had to be made at a price point. So they had to do some engineering to make this work, and this is what was provided them. This is great. So the problem is, as I said, that is the thickness of the plate that held the solenoid off too far on this cover, and that caused buzzing. I think I show you the mechanism. This is a cutaway of the S45 valve. You've probably seen this in other videos. The water enters here, goes up these series of channels. You can see the different coloring there. Let's see if I got a pointer. Yeah, here we go. Let me grab a pointer. And goes up here and into this chamber. And there's bleed-through holes which equalize the pressure in the chamber, but since the surface area on the top is greater than the surface area on the bottom, the valve is held closed essentially by its own pressure, which is, pick up that screw there, yeah, sorry, screwdriver. And so this, if this is raised off, either by whatever means, in this particular case, it's the solenoid. If it's raised off, it relieves the pressure from the top, and the valve, this strokes open, allowing the water to flow through and out to where you want it to go. They use this valve in a lot of things: automatic coffee makers, car wash, jets, and so forth. So this valve is tested, proven design. And they use it and incorporate it in the VXT here. So this is stainless but magnetic, and there's the spring which keeps it down. And let's power this up. I have a coil which I got from a competitor's product, but it's the same thing, made by Eaton. You know, that was, it shows you how long ago that was. So this has got, this is 24 volts across here, and the coil is designed to handle that. Let's see, is it on? Yeah, it is. So as you, it draws the piston up, and you can also hear the buzzing. If you bring it down low, the buzzing goes away, but if you're at a certain critical distance, there's the buzzing. What's happening is that as this draws up, the spring is compressed and pushes back down. And also this is alternating current, so the magnetic lines of force are constantly changing and going back and forth and whipping up and down. And so you get that cycle action, the unpleasant 60 cycle hum, or I don't know what cycle that is, but I'm not an engineer, I just play one on TV. So, but that was part of the issue, is this is critical distance and you get that loud buzzing noise. And so what they had to do, let me turn this off. What they had to do was make this plate thinner. Easier said than done. Let me dig into this. I really hope this is worth it for you. I really appreciate you sticking around this long. And let's take these off. And yeah, remember, if you don't lose these, because these particular things are OEM. They're not off the shelf technology. Let's take a look at this. So the original plate design is somewhere around, so you can read that, 9/64, and the new plate now is significantly thinner. It's a 1/16 of an inch. And how they had to do that was they had to essentially modify the hold down screw. And see if you can see there, it's been truncated. It doesn't come to, they've truncated that cone a little bit, and this here is the actual, that determines the thickness of the plate right there, as opposed to this sort of standard cheaper screw. They probably had to custom design this. I'll have to ask them about that. And so if I ever lose these screws, I certainly want to have them in my kit. Why I would want to take this apart for servicing, because I can't replace it with something from Home Depot. So anyway, that is the story on that. Want to really thank the folks at Hydrolevel for coming up with this good plan here. As you can see, that's fixed there, so that coil isn't moving, no tape, solid as a rock, and quiet as it can be with this valve arrangement. So bravo for coming up with this. This is now a very nice product, and I hope that really helps solve any problems you have with noise and directionality. So I just saw one of these things mounted upside down the other day, and oh man, it just ticked me off. Just shows you, if you see them mounted upside down, better look for other problems, because if they didn't care enough to mount this thing properly, then you know you're following behind somebody who didn't know and didn't care. But be that as it may, if you're watching this video, you're not one of those. And thank you very much, and be well and stay safe.